Hey, hi, bro. I gave contest and then I did pretty bad, I guess. I'll try to show video. I'm not mad. Why am I mad? I'm not mad. Hey, it's not first time I get minus 150 or something. You know, I got minus 150 so many times before. See? Oh, it's my biggest negative ever. See, minus 149, minus 145, minus 143, minus 143. If I become CM, I can give this tomorrow, right? But sadly, I'm not becoming. Is there anything that I can do now to become CM? Can I do some hack or nothing? Right now, we cannot do anything, right? Now we cannot do anything. Can I submit an unsuccessful hack? No, right? We cannot do anything now. So, guys, I also solved three, bro. Nice that you solved three. So, why am I doing this stream now? Is I did a stream and then I have uploaded it, but then if you see, this is my sorry. 1 minute. This was my contest. I'm not uploading it publicly. From here onwards, video is screen is gone. From here, should I still upload this? No, right? No screen. But then, how many have I solved till screen was there? Okay, till here screen was there. No, I haven't solved even D. Even D was not solved there. So it's useless now to keep it right. So guys, where is it? See, it was not lag. It was not lag. It was my internet connection, I guess. So I have tried the contest. I have done bad. Like, okay, what I was telling was uploaded. I have uploaded my contest, but then my screen went down in between, so I'm removing it. Okay, believe me, it went down. That's why I'm removing it. But still, I will do post contest discussion and explain some problems today. Okay, hope that helps. Uh, so we have C. Let me see what is C. I haven't tried E much. I thought of trying G a bit. I only did this much on E. I haven't done much. Just this much. So maybe we can even see E. For D, I was doing something random, but then I think my approach was so bad maybe for D. Even for D, I struggled a lot. For C, I think for C is also see, guessing in the sense when you get something, maybe try to guess the structure instead of struggling. I was struggling a lot on C unnecessarily. So one thing is, so one thing we can say is if number of rabbits greater than one, we can make them like this, right? This seems to be working, right? But then if there is a flavor rabbit flavor, then maybe we can this rabbit can save this one. Maybe that's the only thing, right? So we can say this is bad immediately, right? We can say this is bad immediately. But after saying this, I should have went. Is this also bad? Right? Because this can help. They both can help each other at max. This will be left out. So once we say this is bad and this is bad, Are these the only bad conditions, right? So after saying this, I didn't say this one. I thought of some DP. I thought of doing DP. I thought of doing for which one? I hope it gets fixed. It looks good to me. See, I tried a lot on B. I tried a lot. I'll show what all I've tried on B. See, tried I tried things like n minus 1, n minus 2, up to so on. And then I will keep n here. And then I will keep n minus, I will leave one thing and then I will keep n minus 1 here. And then I will leave one more thing and then I will keep n minus 2 here. So from these things, what I have understood was from n to n minus 1, value is reducing by 1. And I am moving once here, I have to move twice here. Right. I'm moving once here, I have to move twice here so that the difference between them will come reduced by 1. So for n it was, because they say there should be multiples, right? For I greater than n by 2, it is probably 2i. I mean the difference in length is twice of I is I, right? Because it cannot be 2i or 2i, not 3i, because they are big things, right? See, what I mean is we have to get such insights to try better, because if you don't get any insights, even though with insights I was not able to solve in the contest, but still I'm telling you, you have to get this kind of logical insights. Okay, for I big values of I, they should be far apart, right? They should be far apart for big values of I, right? So you have to use those things to get the pattern that others are getting. But after this, I thought, because of this, I fixed this thing. I fixed this thing, and then I kept trying. And then I kept trying a lot. I fixed these things, and then I kept trying, like, okay, now let's say n equals to 2k. I can fill till 2k everything, right, using this thing. And then I thought, okay, from here, can I try to fill other things, like from here to here, and then keep on going? But then, for those values, the difference three times value. Okay, what I mean is, let me see k here. Let's say this is k plus keeping. So this would be 4k plus 4k, right? And then this would minus 1. And this is k, right? I will keep this in k minus 1 position, so that 4k minus 1 minus k minus 1 will become 3k. So I was able to keep k 3k difference. So now I thought I will use the same logic, move this twice, move this once, and then I thought I can keep everything. And then I have to handle one middle thing, I thought. So this was one thing I, this is wrong. Why? The difference is now 3k. Going once here, going twice here, will reduce it only by once, right? So from k to k minus 1, going once this side, going twice this side will reduce it by 1. That works here, but here the difference is 3k. You have to reduce it 3 times more. So this, I thought this works. And then after implementing that for odd, even, everything, then I realized that it's wrong after I got wrong answer. Then I realized that it's wrong. Then I tried maybe doing coming k from this side and other things. Then I tried even looking at this thing. Keep n here, keep one here, 2 here. Sorry, I didn't do this one exactly. Let me see what I have done. Okay, I think I did this one. 1 minute, where did I write that? Wait, 1 minute, I'll just check my, okay, fuck. What is this thing? I don't know if I wrote this during contest or after contest because I saw someone else's solution right after that. Okay, I tried something like that, but then I thought odd things are missing. I thought it becomes 2, it becomes 4, up to so on. So I thought odd things are missing. But then just 2 times val, right? Because you started here, let's say you were able to do 2 for 1. And then you're able to do, in, here it became plus 1. Length. Here it became plus 1. So from here you are able to do plus 2. So you can go to 1. So if you try to see what would be the pattern from 1 to what, how would it change? Maybe it increases this side 1, this side 1. Then this pattern is seeming to be coming. I tried looking at something like this after I noticed that this is wrong. All of this is wrong. Then I tried something like this. But then I thought, I don't know why I thought it's not working for odd things. I thought because I wanted to make it, I wanted to make this. I think this is what I tried. One, and then it was not working, right? 1, 2, 3, it's becoming. So we can keep 3, we can keep 5 next because it's becoming twice. So for this reason, I was not able to do it. So just a guess that work, right? Okay, if I'm trying to make 2 times because we have 2 in length, right? Maybe can I make it always 2 times val? If you have thought that, okay, for n1 I have to do something like that. Okay, for 2 now we can extend easily. Length became plus 1 this side, plus 1 this side. Maybe in this way we should have found the pattern. Maybe in this way. What happened to me was I fixed these things and then I have seen that okay, this seems to be possible again. From here I can again do, I thought. I tried checking K and this matching, but then now it's 3 times the difference. You cannot go once here, twice here, and you claim that it's working for everything, right? So I got stuck in this one, and then I saw for n equals 2k plus 1, 2. If it goes less than master, then I would get better rating. But I don't think it will go. I heard many people cheated on G, right? Even I tried looking at G because G seems to be having more solves than E. So I thought of saying G. So yes, is that for B? Uh, I hope this is fine for G. Guys, is it Chrome problem? Should I just restart Chrome or something? Because it shows net is working, but then it doesn't work. So you guys can hear me now well, right? So for B, I think I have explained whatever I was trying. Okay. For B, I have explained something. Because of that one, I went completely wrong, and then I kept trying in this only. Even though I know that this is probably much difficult, right? I should have left this, and then I should have just seen for this 2 times while it's being possible always. I like if 2 times while is always possible, right? Because x 1 comma 1 and then 2 comma 2, the length is. While doing this, I was confused that okay, we're only able to do for even numbers. I have seen this one, but then so for B, I think that's it. Okay. For D, I have told you guys that for C, I have told that first observation is you guys should make points. Okay, you guys should make constructive points one after the other. I haven't done this good. I know that because I'm doing DP to find something and then it was unnecessary. So okay, I will also see a Isner Walla solution. Because I realized was, see, one, see this one, this is bad. Anyone can say that this is bad, right? Is it gone again? So, so you're applying here. So this is bad is what you can say, and then you can try to see what about something like this, I guess, right? Because if you see, okay, I thought of greedy. From here, I thought I will do greedy. Greedy means I thought, because now we know, right? If someone can be helped or not. Moving from left to right. Okay. I thought I can say if if some rabbit is free or not. Free means, let's say, if this rabbit is already helping, if you see this one, this rabbit can help this guy, right? So if this rabbit must help the previous guy, if the rabbit must help the previous guy, then then we can say that, sorry, then we can say, I mean, if you're able to go greedily, and then if you say this rabbit must help the previous guy, then we can find for the new rabbit if you can take previous help or not. If you cannot take previous help, then he should be able to take the next help, kind of, right? So I was trying to keep something like this, trying to write a greedy one where we can know if the previous guy is helping or not. But then what happened was, I thought of making it DP. Like, can previous guy help or not? Okay. I thought of trying to write a DP like this. That also went complex. I tried writing a DP like that uh, over here. Okay, if you see my previous video, maybe it is there. And then also that seemed complex. Here we all know what to do. Like some R can help, some R, right? But then it's all about, see guys, in competitive programming or coding, the ideas are less. The logic is not too much. But then how well you use what you have is being much more important. Like how well you can use what you have. Somehow is like, I mean, like once you get this, maybe you can try for this thing. If you have even number of things, you can pair them up, right? But if you have odd number of things, definitely this is bad. So now this is bad. But if even if one such thing exists, it's bad, is what we know, right? But let's say these things doesn't exist at all. Then what can we say? You have some r's, you will only take one f. You cannot take two f's. If you see such components that are divided by two f's, okay, if you see such components that are divided by 2f, because this is what you got, this is necessary, it's necessary that this doesn't exist, right? Logically, to solve the problem, it's not like random guesses, right? Logically you got that, okay, if this exists, it cannot be solved. But now you try to see, okay, what are these things? These are like bounded by ff, right? Some things that has like f and f. So now if you try to see what would be like in between things, between two ffs, what would be like in between things, if you try to see that. So this is either end or an f. Also this is either end means end of the array, or an f, right? So if you try to look at the in between one now, between two consecutive f's, if you try to look at the in between ones, you can see r's, rf, 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 rf. Some can be greater than one r, and then rf, rf, rf. So what can we observe is, if you have this thing, then you can always move, you can always pair these two. If something is left, pair that with this thing. You can come from this side also, pair these two, pair these two. If something is left, you can move it to this side. If some other thing exists that is greater than or equals to r, you can pair them. So if this thing exists, it can always be done. If r or greater than 1 exists in this component, it's always yes. So now the problem is solved. If this exists, it's no. If there doesn't exist, if this doesn't exist, means else it will be even, right? Because we know that odd things, if odd things exist, it's wrong. If it is even, it's solved. You can pair them. So now it's the structure of the problem is almost done, right? So this is how you can see, maybe like if you can guess this one, maybe you can try to extend this one to this 3 hours. You can pair these two, maybe because you're trying to use the idea that these two can help each other, right? These two can help each other kind of idea. Now you come to here, and then you can try to solve it perfectly. Okay, if something greater than or exists, you can help all of them, like trying to move towards it. So after this too, I was not able to, even after this, I was facing issues with initial conditions, because after this I went to coding without considering what about initial conditions where you have one component. So I was trying to capture this one. If this pattern exists, wrong. If this pattern doesn't exist, it's true, I thought. But then initial conditions, like there are some initial conditions, right? Initially, this f need not be there, but then this could have been the end. Initially, this f need not be there, but then this could have been the end. Even then, I should consider this pattern, right? Even then, I should consider this pattern, right? So I think I should have just looked for this pattern. Okay, but then this R can help these things, right? So this is the pattern that we should look for. This is the pattern we should look for. So I thought I will cover all possible ways where this pattern can occur and then check if this pattern occurs. No, otherwise yes. But then I missed the endpoints. I missed the endpoints. So again I have to code. To add the endpoints, I added a flavor here and here so that I will see whenever it is end and then this is F. If I add that, I will get that right. So I thought of adding one flavor at the beginning and at the end. Now I'm trying to find this pattern. If this pattern exists, it's S. You guys can see and hear me well, right? Okay, but don't spam. I don't think we are mostly competitive programmers, I guess, right? So we may not be interested in building much. I'll just remove you. Can I just do mute? So don't spam, bro. Maybe you can try later. Maybe if someone else is interested, they will join you. Okay. Some CP resources. I think Codeforces problem set is a resource, I guess, because we have to try more. I think I'm giving some good resources, like you have to try more. Even though I am solving bad, I can see that I don't solve good. Uh, but I think it's about trying a bit more. Okay, really, that helps a lot more than I'm explaining rabbit one, right? So one thing we can say is, if you haven't followed from the beginning, watch it later. Okay, don't ask in between. So we can say this. Uh, See, I suggested one math book, but then doing that book whole is difficult. Maybe you can try it little bit. So here, I'm trying to find this pattern. Okay, to find this pattern, what this pattern looks like from F, I have to go, and if I can know from some F, how far we can go in terms of like R comma F comma R up to so on, then it looks like if I can get this length, then I can check if odd number of things exist or even number of things exist, right? That's what I was trying to do. For F, I was trying to see this guy comes always whenever I tried. Okay, so if you solve easier ones, that is a really good resource, because see, if you're not able to solve if you're not able to solve if you're not able to solve one problem, I mean you cannot solve some other problem at the trading, because maybe it needs some, if you have solved some other smaller problem, maybe you can solve that. So we should not get discouraged by ratings. Okay, even if you can solve some problem, we should not get discouraged by ratings. uh, Problem set is good resource. Really, try easier problems, because there are so many things, right? See, I have done this before, where we can find what is the longest alternating length. We can do it like that. If I know L of n, I can, if previous thing is same, then this is the index where it ends, right? If previous thing is different, then we can just take where the previous one ends. So this is what I done. So what I did was, I was finding the longest this one, and then I'm trying to check if this is f and this is f. See, I first found that, and then I'm trying to check if this is f and the next thing is f, and then I'm trying to check uh, if the previous things are also f and f. Okay, and then I'm trying to check if this is f, this will also be f, because it is ending here, right? The alternating sequence is ending here, right? So if this is f, see, it's all about using simple logic and writing steps clearly. It's all about, see, it's not resource. CP is really not about like knowledge. If you do few things clearly, like, see, logic, it's about using logic, right? Here I'm using logic to simplify it, like, okay, RF is going, and if it is ending here, this is obviously f, right? If this is f, this is f, or it could have ended with RR. So I was just checking this to confirm about this. I was just checking this to confirm about this. Okay, so I was able to go from here and here like this, right? So, so, and then I was trying to find its length. If I know this length, I can know number of R's in between, which is nothing but seal division, because flow division, because it's starting with F, ending with F. So number of R in between is ln by 2. And then if I'm checking if this number of R's is odd, if this number of R's is odd, then it's no. Otherwise it's S. We have proved otherwise it's S. Why? These things doesn't exist. If some greater than one exists, we can move everything towards that. Pair these two, pair these two. If one is left, you can pair with this. Pair these two, pair these two. If one is left, you can pair with this. If there is one more thing, that also helps more. Okay. But if those doesn't exist at all, okay, no, all of these are fine. Now we have to think of this doesn't existing. If this doesn't exist, if it is even, it's good. If it is odd, we are eliminating it. If it is even, you can pair them up. So the problem has been perfectly solved. You have to guess what's the pattern that makes it wrong. This is one thing you can see that makes it wrong, right? Then you have to think, can I generalize this a bit more? You generalize this to here. Maybe without proving this itself, you can try to submit this code, right? Maybe, see, the thing is, it's all step by step. First you have to logically come here, and then can you code this. If the problem was output me if this pattern exists or not, can you solve the problem? Even then it's difficult problem, right? Even then it's not that an easy problem. You have to solve in steps. After coming to this step, can I solve this? Before solving that, you have to think, if these things doesn't exist, then can I always get? You have to think that, okay, if something greater than thing exists, then we can always get it. If that doesn't exist, we can pair them up. So seems this is a good answer. Then you have to go to coding. Now it's another step. Now the problem is all about doing this one. Now we don't care about rabbits, we don't care about whatever they have told and everything. So it's finding necessary and sufficient conditions, and then you will implement them, or you will make them more simpler. Finding some points, right? From here, it's just this pattern existing or not. So because someone has told me to check Erictos something, right? So instead of doing all of this, I will try to do this thing. Okay, I will try to do if f and f ends, I will mark that as 0 1. Okay, I will mark that as 0. Okay, now, okay, I'll mark that as 1, let's say. I'll mark that as 1. Means in our pattern, that's the first thing. So now if an R comes, and then if the previous thing is 1, I'll mark that as 2, let's say. If now I can mark that as 4, I can mark that as 5, 6, 7. But then when this comes, I will just check. Instead of 1, now I don't know what I mean. What I mean was, maybe we can try to maintain number of R's being odd, and then we can go add one more thing, and then we can find, okay, if number of R's are odd or even. I think that would be what Ericto has done, because we have to. This is implies and implies solve, right? Odd number of R's. So maybe he's trying to just see for the last four things to conclude if this thing ends in odd number of hours or not. Maybe that's what he's doing. Okay, like, because if this goes to even number of hours, this will be like odd number of hours, right? Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Someone asked specifically, what about Eric's one? So let's leave this one. I think this is done, right? So even after you saw the pattern, now we have to try to implement it well. Okay, that, see, it's all same necessary and sufficient. Is it this is a necessary condition, and then I'm checking sufficiency here, right? This proving, you need not prove this well, but then it's all about step by step. So what I mean is, you need not get scared of a problem because it will be step by step. Okay. See, it's not about DP. Can you guys hear me well? At least. There is quite lag. See, it's not about DP though. See, Sai, I mean, I got it. I got what you're meaning. I got what you're telling. See, I told you three things, right? I, see from here. See the video again. I think you have missed this one, right? See, one thing is very clear. This R can help this R, right? This R can help this R. That's the only thing we have, right? And previous things, they have to help themselves, right? This R can help this R, and then previous things they have to help themselves, right? So I didn't use DP because I didn't want to maintain an array in the contest. That's the reason why I didn't use DP. I don't know why I am so dumb. Like, see, what I did was in contest. 1 minute. Let me see. Let me see. Show my video. My contest video. I'm not uploading this. So what I did was. So this is me. Solution. So here I'm trying. So here I'm trying one wrong DP solution. Okay. Here I'm trying one wrong DP solution. My DP was rabbit has turned this side, rabbit has turned this side. I wanted to maintain two things. Okay, rabbit has turned left, rabbit has turned right. If those two are possible, can I extend? Is what I wanted to maintain. But then I'm only maintaining two variables, right? I'm only maintaining two variables, right? For that reason, I again went for solving the problem greedily. See, how DP can be used is whenever you're using DP, things, the structure will not go behind and behind. Okay, that's how DP works, right? Because what do I mean by structure doesn't go behind and behind? So if you see here, the structure, if this R gets help from this one, if this R gets help from this one, then all of these things should help themselves, right? Okay, this R got help from previous, then all of them should help themselves, right? All of them should help themselves. So the structure is not extending forever, right? Like, they become independent here. That's what bijection also means. Like, if you remove these two, the other thing will become same as what you have already computed. So that's why we can use, that's why we can maybe brute force the structure too, is what I mean. Okay, so if you have an R, you can see if the previous one is F, is not F, if the previous one is R. Okay, if the previous one is R, you can see if you, okay, let's see, let's take these things, let's take this, uh okay, maybe let's take these four things or so. Okay, they have to help themselves, right? I wanted to say something like, okay, if this is R, they both can help each other. But if this has to help something behind, okay, this can see this one. And then this can help previous things also well, right? If this is R and previous thing is R, this can help previous things too. So here, so here, dp of I is just dp of I minus 1. If I minus 1 is possible, I is also possible. But if this was f, so now let's see if when this is r and this is f. So I'm telling why you can use dp. It's not like you come from dp, you analyze the problem and you see the structure is not going far behind, right? Only this can help this. If it is true that something far from here, if this also can help that, then it's more complex, dp or something. But then we can see that only this one helps this. So for that reason, if I maintain if this is possible, so what I was trying to show here was I wanted to maintain just two variables in the contest. I don't know why I did that. I think if I have maintained an array, I could have gone and done dp itself. But then I spent time here. Because I spent time and then it was wrong, I came back to getting another solution. I came back to see if this pattern is the whole pattern. One thing is, it's obvious that some greedy works. Greedy means if this rabbit can help here, can this rabbit take this rabbit's help or not? That's the only thing we have, right? So we can see DP structure because from here it gets divided. If this rabbit is getting its help, this is just DP of I minus 2. This is now not at all included with this one, right? That's how we use DP. So where are we? Okay, if previous one is R, this can just help this one. And now if this works, because this need not take this help, right? Okay, but then if the previous one is also F, then it seems like this is impossible, but this is possible, right? It seems like this is possible, right? So we have to see if these rabbits can help themselves, and then so among all possible helpings, maybe this rabbit will help itself or so. But then after few things, we can brute force that helping this thing, like we can brute force that something less than this need not take its help at all. Maybe we can brute force that, right? If you brute force that, it becomes dp of I minus 4 existing, and then being able to pair these things well, being able to satisfy these things and these things existing. So that dp, maybe you can write, maybe Isnarwala was using dp. I will just check his solution. uh, no, he's not even doing that. It is alternating length. If the alternating length is 3 mod 4, hey, he has done what I have done itself. Okay, what I have done, he has done that only. I am also finding alternating length. I'm finding alternating length, and then I'm dividing it by 2, and then I'm taking remainder with 2, right? What does that mean? Alternating length by 2 equals to 2k plus 1, right? Which is nothing but length equals to 4k plus 2. This is impossible for me, but that's because I'm also involving this and this. So I think he's doing the same thing. But then I'll check his solution again. So I think DP you can do in this way, I think. So I think I cannot explain this more, guys. I think that's fine. This is fine, I guess. See, even much more difficult DP questions are all about seeing the structure of the problem and finding that, okay, the structure is becoming independent. Like, okay, these things are getting uh, involved, and then this is being, you brute force. DP is brute forcing everything by seeing the structure, by seeing something nice in the structure, you brute force everything. So this would also work, right? Maybe after some time, see, this one also would work, right? Maybe after some time, where is that? Yeah, maybe after some time they must help each other. So brute force four things. If they can help each other, and then if this is active, then only then this can be active. Otherwise it is inactive, because they have to help themselves, right? Even if it was r, then then these two helping each other is enough. From here it's always good anyway, right? Because no one needs this one's help. If it is r, if it is r, this one doesn't need this help. So if this is fine, it's good. Let's say if this was r, f, that can be dp. But then if you think a bit more, you can notice that this is the only thing that matters. If odd number of odds exist, it's impossible, else it's possible. That's what Ismail also has done. He's trying to find the alternating sum, and then whenever alternating sum is 4 is odd, then he's taking it as that's what he's doing, I guess. So it's about finding this pattern. Like if this pattern exists, no, else true. I think for this pattern, what he was doing was trying to get the maximum alternating length. If you get the maximum alternating length, if you get the maximum alternating length from f, okay, if you get the maximum alternating length from something, I think I have brute forced it in a bad way. So what he has done was, okay, start from some I, okay, I think it was just going over all these components, okay, going over all these alternating components now, right? Because you have these things, even here, the solution, going over all alternating components, right? From here, go over all alternating components, okay? If this one, if you are ending at R, that means this is anyway good, leave that. And then keep going. And then keep going. But then if you are ending at F, now you are trying to judge the length of this alternating sequence. So it's the same thing. If this pattern exists or not, there are many implementations possible. I tried finding this pattern by brute force. There can be some other things. Maybe using the fact that, okay, only these two will help each other. Maybe we can do DP, like brute forcing DP. If you know these things must help themselves, pair these things also. So now let's think of this problem, which is this is much more difficult, right? I tried many things random, but then what one thing we can try is what's the guys. Now we are looking at D. I cannot shout more. I will end soon this contest because I cannot explain much. Independent means they have to help themselves. They cannot take help of this one, right? Is what independent means. To put buttons. So I'll get some water. By then read the problem D. Okay. We will try also if you have time. Okay. Read the problem D. I haven't tried much on E at all. Okay. We can try E because 700 solves are there. It may be easy. So I haven't tried that in contest. I was trying for G and B. I was not able to solve B. So think of this thing. What you have to think is you should not think randomly, right? You have to logically think. You have to logically think. You have to logically think if someone can score at least this much. Okay. This we can think. We have to think this logically. Okay. One thing you can see is if someone removes x greater than 1, we can remove x minus 1 and gain more score. So we can also see Alice minus Bob. Whenever Alice removes something which is greater than 1, Bob can remove something. Whenever Alice removes something greater than 1, Bob can remove something. This I was able to see. And then I was trying to find some ranges for these two things, right? Let's say Alice removes initial ones. Then whenever Bob removes something, Alice can remove something, I thought. But then there is a flaw in this. What is the flaw? What is the flaw? Finally, Alice gets to remove some big ones. Why? Whenever Alice removes something, Bob can remove something lesser, right? But let's say so let's say, what I mean is let's say Bob removed once. Now there are no ones. because there are no ones, whatever Alice removes, Bob removes. Okay, let's say there are no ones. Now it seems to be Bob is favored, right? Whatever Alice removes, Bob can remove. Whatever Alice removes, Bob can remove. Uh, because no ones, whatever Alice removes, Bob can remove something smaller. And then, but this fails. But this fails when only twos exist. When only twos exist, Bob must remove twos. Then Alice must remove ones. Then Alice will remove ones, and then it will be more. And then it will be like Alice will gain a lot. It seems like okay, Bob can always remove more, but then this is becoming a problem, right? This is becoming a problem. So it's about once or not. It's not about existence of once or not. It's about even and odd. It's about even and odd, because I tried guessing some solutions like uh all the odd values Bob can get, all the even values Alice can get, or something like that. What I mean by, so one thing is number of moves is fixed. Number of moves is sum. I mean total score is sum. I'm not explaining it well. Total sum is fixed. Guys, because I'm going over there and here, I think it becomes a bit unwatchable, but bear with me. Because I repeat so many times, if you try to understand, it works. So I think it's not about greater than once or not, it's about even and odd. Somehow it's about even and odd, right? Because now if you think of even and odd, even and odd. So you can think of this case. This case, it's not no ones, but no odd elements. Think of this case now. Because after seeing here, it seems like, okay, it's not about no ones, right? Because if you see this one, or if you see all twos, all threes, all threes, Alice will make it all twos. And then Bob will make it all ones. And then Alice will make it all zeros. So Bob was able to do just this one, but Alice got the last chance. So this seems like it's not about no ones, but it's about odd values, right? If whenever odd values are there, Alice will get the final chance, kind of. So if you observe that thing, if you think of that case, we can try to see what about no odd elements. Can Bob do well here? If you see no odd elements, whenever Alice's turn is, okay, whenever Alice's turn is, hey, Pratiksha has asked me for resources, right? I don't know what I mean by just skip it. See, uh, I'm explaining games here also. Whenever in games, what happens is you have some configuration, and then when someone makes a move, that configuration will be lost. Now when it is lost, you can bring back to this configuration. In that way, you can always say whatever the moves happen, this guy will win. Let's say there is a winning position, winning positions, winning positions, and if it is a winning position, whatever you do, so if it is a winning position, there is a way to go to losing position so that the other guy will lose. But if it is a losing position, whatever you do, you will go to winning position. So it's like there are some wins, losers. Let's say there are some wins, losers. What is a winning position is there is a way to go to lose. But what is a losing position is whatever you do, you go to win. Whatever you do, the next guy. Most of the games, the structure will always exist. All even. Whatever allies do, uh, it's all even. So let's say all are even. Allies can only choose something even, which is greater than 1. Let it be x. Now Bob chooses x minus 1 and he can score more always. Right? whatever Alice does, Bob does this. Whatever Alice does, there are no even, right? And answer here is Alice equals to sum by 2, Bob equals to sum by 2. Because both are scoring same. Alice done something, Bob will remove that. Because now from even it came to odd and he's removing the same value. It cannot become more. From even it became odd and then he's removing the same value. Okay. So Bob can always make sure here. So Alice minus Bob. In this case, Alice minus Bob. Bob can make sure is less than or equals to 0. You see that? Bob can make sure it's less than or equals to 0. But can Alice always make it in this case? Now it comes about what are the odd elements. It seems like odd elements are the ones Alice can always take, right? It seems like odd elements are the ones Alice can always take. So now what I have done was I was trying to see odd elements because now people will fight for odd elements. Okay. Now people will fight for odd elements. Why? Let's say few are even. Now, whatever even things are, it seems like they don't matter much, right? Why? Whenever someone moves an even thing, they can move the even thing back and then gain more score. So it seems like odd things are the ones we have to remove, right? If someone removes an even thing, the other guy can always remove the x minus 1, which will definitely exist, and then it works out. So it seems like odd things are a bit important, right? So this is the logic, I guess. It's not about greater than 1, but it's about even. Whenever someone removes even, you can remove x minus 1 and then again make it even. So now it's about the odd things. Some things are odd, they seems to be important, right? So now whenever someone removes odd, we will try to remove other odd. Why? Among even, it seems it's not important, right? Among even, it doesn't seem to be that important. It's among even, it's always half. If someone removes something as even, you can always remove that much as half. So the gain you get, the whatever the gain you get it while removing the initial odd values. You see that? So that's the idea. It's not about x greater than 1, but it's about x being even. Whenever x is even, if someone removes that, you can again remove the other one. Why? If you remove even, it won't go below 1, right? It will be above 1. So in these games, it's always like this. Like whenever 1, 2, 3 are there, see, mathematical circles has game also. Like games also talk. You guys can work on those games also. Simple games. Removing odd things is what matters. It looks like removing odd things is what matters, right? Because whenever someone removes even things, you can remove equal number of even things. So people will try to fight for these odd things now, let's say. People will try to fight for these odd things. Once you make it odd, even, it becomes even. Then no one cares that. So now if you look at odd things, you have some big odd things. See guys, these things maybe look complex, but then you apply 1 hour, 2 hours on one problem to think, okay, maybe this thing is what matters, right? So problems are solvable always. So now look at odd things. Let's say this is the biggest odd frequency, 5, and then this was 2 times, this was 3 times, this was 1 time. Now people will fight to remove the odd because those are the important things. Even things or even values, or whenever someone removes even, you can remove even, and that's the best thing you can do. So it's about among odd. Alice will try to remove the biggest odd component, right? And then Bob will try to remove the next biggest. So what I have done was I just submitted it. I didn't prove it much well after this, but then you can get a little bit of idea that odd things are what existing, right? Other than odd things, the remaining things doesn't matter somehow. Why? Because from here no one will compromise. If you remove this, the next guy will remove that for sure. Whoever's chance is, if you remove that, the other guy will remove that. So whenever someone removes even thing, the other guy can make sure that that's not that good. So that because of that, only these things are mattering now a bit. So I was trying to find all these odd components lengths. Okay, so if it is odd, I will try to find its length after sorting. After knowing its length, I'm pushing that here. Now I'm sorting that array. Now I have different lengths. Alice will take the max length, and then Bob will take the next max length, and then Alice will take the next max length. So in that way it was done. So it was about, if you have some good idea of graphs, maybe we can solve it very quick. I took so much of time because I was trying random things. But if you have good idea of on games, maybe we can think, okay, even things we can always remove. Maybe now maybe odd things matters. How can we use odd things to gain as much as we can? Because Alex is starting, she will try to remove this, remove this, remove this. So it became a problem into it became a problem of, you have 1, 3, 4, 8. Alice goes first, and then Bob. What's the answer? It's 8 minus 4 plus 3 minus 1, right? It became into this because other things people can always make equal to that. Okay, it somehow became like this. We haven't proved very well because some even can become to this odd, right? That's always bad. Why? Then odd things in this are increasing, so maybe that's bad. If so now if someone applies even move first, we can make it odd and gain more. See, if someone does even, we are able to make more, and maybe we will take away this one too. Maybe we will take away this one too along with that. So doing initially even is bad. So now if everyone is doing initially odd, then what's the best thing? Everyone is trying to do initially odd first. So now we can see trying to remove 5 best, and then the next guy will remove 3. So it's about removing odd values first is important, is what it is. Even if someone removes, they can remove x minus 1. It's not about greater than 1, because things can go and then last thing can end up, right? That's how we solve this logically. You guys get it, right? Bro, it's not about DP and bitmask. Really, I made so many videos so far. I think if you find them, see, the thing is, you guys don't know how to use resources. You guys don't know how to use resources for their best, in their best way. You think something else will help you. I can see some people try to gain from my videos, right? So they are gaining, and some people that doesn't gain and they always seek for something else have to learn how to use what they have, how to use what they get. Okay, I know it's a suggestion, I have to take a suggestion, but I'm telling the otherwise too. Okay, I'm telling DP is about this thing and all. Okay, leave that. Whenever I do bad, I instantly get the negative rating. So this is one of the worst contests if you keep this aside. Here I have done C, but then I was not able to submit on time. But here I didn't do anything. So should we try? Should we try? Should we try E? I think C, B, C, D were explained well. C, E now has many solves. Should we try E? I haven't tried much in the contest. So let me try E for some time. Don't leave because let's try to think of E for some time. We want maximum. So if you read the problem, we have an array. We have Q independent scenarios where the scenario says you can increase an element by 1. You can do this at most bi times. It means we can add few things. We can increase the sum by k, let's say. Then what is the maximum number of bits you can get is the question. Not the maximum or, but what's the maximum number of bits you can make them active is the question. Okay. So one thing I can say is now uh, only uh, only uh, 20 things may be updated among n. Why? Let's say to the bitwise OR, one comes from this, one bit comes from this one, other bit comes from this one, other bit comes from this one. We need not take two things help to make one bit active, right? So maybe uh, 30 things 30 things may be updated among n if we can only increase k things. So maybe we can take help of 30 things. We don't know what those 30 things are. This we can say one thing. Let's say you're using some I to make some bit j. Then you need not add this much. You can only add whatever the minimum to make that bit active, right? You can only add that much. So initial ones are there, those doesn't help because you have to still solve the problem like it's a brute force. We have to brute force all possibilities and somehow brute force or apply some logic, find that okay, this is enough, or find something greedy. See, greedy is also almost brute force or something like that. Okay, we have to understand that structure wise, being able to increase k things, this is the best we can do. We have to prove this too, right? So let's try for some time. You guys also think about the problem for some time. Okay, think the problem for some time. I'll come back, I'll bring some water, I'll think of e2. 1 minute, let me keep the problem and go. Hi guys, if I think of d once again, hey, I'm back. Even there. Hi bro, I'm Govinda. How are you? So if you think about d, I tried solving in a nicer way because I want proof too before I submit. I don't try to guess much. So I was thinking about all these things. Can Bob limit him or so? But then I think so. Our explanation was trying to remove max frequency odd things first because that's what matters, right? But if you're coming from top, okay, no, that fails. That fails because let's say this was max even. Okay, if allies goes to there, that fails because allies should get this max odd. Getting max even is useless, right? Max odd is what you need, and then Bob can get the max odd. So I think we have to come to this thing. We have to come to this thing. So okay, that's fine then. So let's try E. How difficult can this be? This is a problem I was not able to solve in contest. I was not able to get anything to in contest. Okay, but still let's try and see how difficult can it become. This thing I can say 30 things may be updated among n indices, right? Why? We have bitwise or number of bits active should be maximized. So if this is the bitwise or, so this one may be coming from some index I. I need not worry about if it's coming from two indices. This one may be coming from some index I. So for each one, maybe something is getting updated. Okay, maybe for few things, one thing itself is getting updated. Maybe that's too. That's too right. That's too correct. Right. So now, what else can we say about optimal? What else can we say about optimal? Let's say. So what it means is these are the maximum number of ones you can get, right? These are the maximum number of ones you can get. So if k is greater than, if k is greater than, so let's say number of bits be b. If k is greater than 1 power b minus 1, we can always get b ones, right? If we can add this much, if we can add this much, if we can add this much, we will just form, we can just form, take anything, take all zeros itself. If you keep adding, if you can add this much value, you will always get here. Even if something is existing here, even if something exists here, if you keep adding one by one, you can achieve this one. So now we have this is always achievable. Whatever the k is, this is always achievable. Okay. But the fact is, you can get some bigger ones by adding little bit itself. By adding little bit itself, you can get some bigger ones, right? By adding little bit itself. When can you get some bigger ones by adding little bit itself? I don't think you can get more ones by adding little bit, right? So let's think of this thing too. What happens to add to this? I think if you add plus one, ones will be lost than coming. But then this seems, here it seems beneficial, right? Here it seems beneficial. Here it seems beneficial because it's almost close to this already. So we won't make this. 1 minute. Okay, here it seems beneficial, right? Why that seems beneficial? Because we are trying to, not beneficial, we are trying to make j using this I, but then all the previous things will be lost here. All the previous things will be lost here, and we will get those by other things. We have to guess. See, the problem may look complex, but because it's solvable, maybe some fact about optimal, maybe something about the max bit, maybe something about the max bit will help you solve the problem, will simplify the problem, and then you can solve the problem. Maybe that can happen, right? So we have to keep trying. We have to, because we have to believe these things. So there exists a simple solution. So let's try this, guys, and then let's see if I can solve this or not. It's not about me solving it, it's about me using some principles in a correct way, some rules in a correct way. So if you think of this thing, maybe the max bit, how can that have occurred? From some I it will occur, right? From some I it will occur, right? See, we can even think of what if n equals to 1, or what if n equals 2. See, we can even work on what if n equals to 1. What if n equals to 1? This problem must be solved, right? What if n equals to 2? You guys can try to think of these things to get some idea of the structure of the problem. If n equals to 1, you must solve, you must probably, and if n equals to 1, the answer will be adding, you have x, adding less than or equals to k, what's the max number of bits you can attain? So this must be solved, right? Okay, you have x. If you keep adding 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 up to so on, what keeps happening? If you keep adding to one thing, 1 1 1 1 1 1, what keeps happening? Let's try to analyze this one. What keeps happening? Whenever there is 0 until next one, you have to add 2 power that much. You have to add 2 power x minus 1. To remove this 1 to 0, what should you add? You have to add plus 1. Then what happens? This, you will form this thing. Then again, so to remove 1 0, to remove this 0, you must add, you must make all these zeros as 1 1 1 1 1, and then all of them will become ones. Then after that, this 0 will become 1. So it's about whenever there is a 0, It's about number of zeros, I guess, right? Not even number of zeros. Yeah, it's about like after you make all this as ones, then to go further, you have to add 2 power k. Then you can go further and then this will become. But here, you need not add 2 power k. You can only add this much. And then once all of them becomes ones, when you do plus 1, you will directly go to here. So consecutive ones will let you skip them. I mean, if you are only looking at activating some higher bit, okay. If you are looking at activating some higher bit, so if you keep adding ones, that's what happens. You keep adding, we will make all of them ones, and then if there are some ones, you will skip all of them to make this thing. Okay. So that's what happens if you keep adding ones, one after the other. So within this K, you know what all structures are possible, right? Then you will also know what is the maximum value we can get. Okay. What's the maximum value we can get? You will know. I never should have let you see inside. So we know that for one value, we know what happens when you add something to that. So now we have many values, and we should be able to figure out what happens when we add all of them, right? So what is this structure? What is this structure? What is this structure? Let's analyze one value itself. Let's analyze one value itself. I think this is not too complex, right? You have ones, you have zeros, you have ones, you have zeros, ones, zeros. Can we say something like for this thing, you should either add this much or more. Adding something in between is useless. Can we say such thing always? But then adding more may become even may make it even worse too. Okay. So can you say something like, okay, we have ones, we have zeros, right? We have to add. We have to add for this zero. We have to add one, and then for to make these things as two, you have to make everything one, 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 one. We have to add that much, two power that much, to make all these things one. So now to make all these things one, you have to again add plus 2 power k. To make all these ones, you have to add 2 power k. To make all these ones, you have to add again 2 power k. Kind of. So what was skipped here was you were able to skip this one. So you have to make all these ones, you have to add this one. You have to add 2 power 0 plus 2 power 1. You need not add this one. You have to add 2 power 0. You have to add this bit. You have to add this bit. You have to add this bit. So that's what we do by adding. By adding, what happens is few of them can become one. Okay. Few of them can become one by adding few things, few of them can become one. So what do we do on one thing is we just add few bits. That's it. We just add few bits. Why? Adding this bit, forming this is bad. What I mean is whenever you add, last few things will become one. That's the optimal is what I mean. If you look at one index, so probably you will make last few bits as one. Let's say we have added few things, but then this is being 0. Then you need not have added this one because it's being 0. You need not have added this one. So what I mean is this one was added by us. Okay, this one was added by us, and then if this was 0, we could have instead made the last one that you have added 0, and then we could have made everything as 1 probably. And what I mean is if this one was added by us intentionally, okay. But then there is also this. Some bit may not be formed by anyone, and you can form that bit. So okay, sorry, this is wrong. This may not be the optimal. When there are two things, if you look at for n equals to 1, that seems right. But if n equals to 2 itself, I don't think viewers will be there. Guys, you also keep trying now. No, bro, my ICBC teammates are working at Graviton. Both of them. I'm working at Apple. So, guys, you guys also keep trying, okay? Congrats, bro. As Pradeep Kehar has already told. So, yeah, there is another thing. If if some bit can only be obtained by some index j, there are these elements, these values too, okay, easily, then we should just do that, right? So let's think of that thing again. Let's say for this bit you can get it by adding some little value. Let's say you can get that bit j by adding some very small value. Let's say that, okay, means you can get it, means you can get all the smaller values, all the smaller bits active. Okay, so what this means is, let's say you're trying to form I of j. Let's say you're forming this bit. Let's say you're forming this bit. Means instead of that, instead of forming this, you could have formed, let's say you are forming this bit by adding something. Okay, this bit is getting formed newly by adding this much, means finally every bit, finally from here all must be ones in optimal. Why? If not, you made j, okay, but let's say some gap is there in optimal, then you could have instead stopped at j minus 1, and you could have had this one, right, which is equally good. So this logical statement we can say easily. What? If you're forming j, if you're forming 1 power j by adding something, if you're forming this bit, then this must be the optimal. So now, so now, so now it's solved. It's almost solved. Just with this logic, it's almost solved, I guess, right? It seems to be solved. Why? We are seeing here some bits are already existing, some bits are getting formed, some bits are already existing, some bits are getting formed. I will order something from Instamart or so, I guess. Guys, do you see that it's almost getting solved now? Guys, see, by using the terminology that this bit is getting formed, so we know some bits comes from some arrays. That we can know. See, if you are not scared of problems, we can solve them in much better ways. Do you see that, guys? If you are not scared of problems, see, you have to believe that. You have to believe that because this is a problem. No, I'm making a much more. So no, what I mean is, if you're forming some bit, so no, see, Pradeep, what I mean is, this is giving us very limited possibilities for optimal. Like, this is giving us very limited possibilities for optimal. Why? This is giving us very limited possibilities for optimal. Why? So we can now maybe, because if this is the last formed bit, all of them must be ones. What was my argument? So if you are forming this bit by adding something, if you're intentionally forming this bit by adding something in the optimal, from J, all of them must be ones. Why? If not, you could have had, if you could have had these things right instead. You could have just gone one below. If you're forming this, if it is already existing, then you are good. But then if you're forming that, so now you can try to look at, now you can try to look at max bit that got formed. Maybe you can brute force this now. Max bit that got formed. If you can brute force this, we are good. If you're forming no bits extra, means that is nothing but or of answer. If you're not forming any bit extra, if you're not making any new bit, then that's gone. The max bit that got formed, that you are forming, max bit that you are forming, this is the max bit that you are forming. Okay, means above bits already exists. So whatever above bits are, we have to just take OR of the previous things. This is the max bit that you're forming. You're forming. Means in opt, okay, in optimal, all of them should be ones from here. Why? Because you're forming this one, you're forming this J. I think this is easy to guess. That's why it had more solves. I didn't even try this problem at all. This is easy to guess. Maybe that's why it had more solves. And then I thought it's more complex, but then it's being too simple again because because of this statement. That's why it has 700 solves, I guess. So it's not a difficult problem. I don't know why I thought it's a bit difficult. Maybe because I haven't solved in contest, I thought it's difficult, and then I'm coming back to normal. So in optimal, if this is the bit you formed, we have to be clear. This is the bit you formed. Then what about the smaller, bigger bits? All of them is nothing but whatever the R of that is. Now the question is, if you are forming this, all of them should be ones in optimal, right? All of them should be ones in optimal, right? You also know that. Otherwise, you could have just made 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 instead. So if you are forming this, all of them are ones. So now, this is the max bit that you are forming. Okay. You have to think, how can you, what is the minimum, what is the cost, what is the minimum cost to make all these as ones, is what you have to think. So if you if you find this thing for all j, then you can answer. If you find this thing for all j, then you can answer for any k offline. So if you find this for all j, what's the minimum cost you have to add to make all these as ones, making these things not touching at all? Then not even minimum cost. Okay, for all j, if you know what's the minimum cost to make all these as ones, then you can brute force j for whatever the value they give. You can brute force j, and then you can find, I think it increases, because if you can form j for higher j, you're making more things as ones, right? So I think that will cost more. Obviously that will cost definitely more. So if you know that, then it's done. So it's like now log n problem, right? So now it's just log n problem. Now it's just finding something for all j. For all j, making this, what's the minimum cost is the question now. That's it. And then maybe you will brute force that j. This j being the biggest one that's forming. You know what's the way to form that, right? I have to be clear. Okay. What's the optimal to make all one? So let's solve this problem. This is the bit that you're making it, like you're trying to make this bit. What's the way to make everything as ones? You're forming this bit. Okay, you're forming this bit by adding something, is our brute force, right? So you have I. Okay, you have I, and then you will form it only once. Okay, because that's the maximum bit you're forming. There's no point in forming it twice, right? Because if you are forming it twice, twice. You could have just made 1 power j comma 1 power j minus 1, so that you have everything active. So you will form it only once. Let's say you have I, and in that I you're forming that one. Okay, you're forming that in that I. That is unique, right? You're forming that in that I. So now what is getting formed? Here is this I, let's say. To form this one, to form this I, you use some I. You add something to form this, that is nothing but this value. 1 power j minus this one. Okay, 1 power j minus this one. To form this index. And then you will also use, I will order something. I need some snacks at least. I'm very tired. 3 hours contest and then 3 hours shouting. I got a bit tired, right? Should I do live? Like, should I scroll? Or I should not say these things. Yeah. Uh, Swiggy. So think of this, guys. Can we solve this problem? We have to solve this problem because you guys are also trying, right? So some bits are getting formed. Okay. So let's look at OR. Let's look at OR. Some bits are getting formed, right? It's still not being, let's still simplify a bit, but yeah, we have to solve for J. What's the minimum way you can make everything once? Because see, if this was existing, if this was existing, let's say this was existing, okay, but still you have to form this bit. You have to form this bit too. To form that bit, you will make this as, and then you have 0 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 So what I mean is, when you add this to form this bit, when you may use this thing to form 1000, maybe other things should help you. Maybe other things should help you, right? So guys, can we solve it? Like, we should be, because it's an easy one, right? Some bits are coming newly, but then whatever exists before, I think we have to say some more point. Otherwise, it's not being so simple, right? We have to say some more point. Like, can I guess some solution? Like, I will use one index I and form this bit uh, using the index that gives min cost to this is best. Okay, maybe let's guess that whatever the index that gives min cost to make this one, I will use that. Let's say. So now we have these things. Okay, now this one became zeros. Now removing this, let's look at or of other things. Okay, so now removing this, look at or of other things. If that forms everything, we are good, right? If that forms everything, we are good. But if that or is not able to form everything, okay, removing that, if we are not able to get or of everything. Okay, we got some bits. Now let's say there was some 0. Okay, now we have to get this 0 to become 1, right? We have to get this 0 to make it 1, right? Maybe we'll again find for that 0 what's the minimum thing you can make it 1. Can we just come from left side? What is the minimum cost to make all these things 1? But given that you're going till there, maybe that differs, right? uh, can I solve this or should I just skip it? You guys should know what I'm doing right now. So guys, can we solve it? I don't know, I'm not getting anything. Should I sleep? So let's think sometime, guys. Let's think sometime. Let's think from above a bit, okay? I will order some snacks by then. Let's think sometime. I'm thinking. You guys also think. We will solve it and then we will end the stream, because if you don't solve, content is bad content, right? Just random tries shouldn't be content. I'm ordering bingo. I'm ordering shit. Maybe hide and seek helps too sometime. Maybe this is enough. I cannot order more. Think, guys. We can solve it probably. I can solve some problems which I fail already. I don't know why that happens all the time. You have to make all of these as ones, right? If something already exists, let's say that cost is 0. So if this bit already exists, after we remove that, if this bit already exists in the OR, that means something can help it with cost 0, right? We need not remove that too. Why? Because if you are using that to form this one, that won't be lost, right? That won't be lost. So we need not remove those things. We have to remove if we make it this one. Otherwise, we need not remove those things. And then let's look at max or again. Let's look at max or again. What would be the cost? I think would that algorithm work? Make whatever gives you minimum cost, use that to make this bit, and then keep going. Take the or of everything, and then again you have a 0, and then try to find the element that takes minimum cost that is not present here to make this as 1, and then you remove this element so that or of things changes here, and then again find the minimum element that gives you that cost to come till here up to so on. Would this work? So guys, I was just guessing some algorithm, right? Hey, I am suggesting an algorithm, right? Telling that, did you guys get that algorithm? So this is an algorithm, right? Would this work? I think this problem in contest is being a lot of guesses, a bit of guesses. Do you guys get this? Is my internet gone? You guys make it much more difficult to do this shit if you don't respond. Who all are there? So, but we don't know if this is correct or not, right? We don't know if this is correct or not, right? So, so this is the j that takes minimum cost to come till here, right? That's the j that takes minimum cost to come till here. But but that means other things are far away from here to come here, right? So now if you are using if you are using some other index to make that j, if you are using some other index to make that j, so okay, this is the j that we are using to make that one, right? To make the minimum cost. Okay, that is there. But then what it means is, if we are not using that j here, we are using some other j here, and this j will go to some other place, right? So guys, so we are trying to use some exchange argument. Let's say this was index I1, and then this was index this, so this 0. So initially we had 0 1 1 0 1 1 1, so some or let's say all ones or something itself. And then we made this one as 1, we chose some index I, and then we made this as 1, and then we have or getting changed, or got changed again because we remove this element I. Now we are going to this 0. Now let's say some other index I2 helped here. So now the question is, instead of using I here, if you use I2 here and then I here, would that be beneficial? Would that be better? So I was something minimum cost to make this bit, right? After that I2 is something minimum cost to make this bit, right? So if you use I2 to form this, if you use this index to form that, it will take a bit more cost. It will take a bit more cost, let's say slightly more cost, right? Let's say it will take slightly more cost. Okay, but what does that mean? Let's say ice cost here was ci c1. Ice cost to make this bit was c1. Let's say ice cost to make this bit was, let's say swapping these two will help or not. Okay, we have two bits. Let's say ice cost to make this was c1, ice cost to make this was, sorry, ci1. Let me call it x and let me call it y. Okay, index x cost to make this one was c1, let's say. Index cost to make this bit was, let's say, cx2. Okay, and then index y to make this bit was, let's say, cost be cy1. Index cost to make this one was cy2. Okay, what we are trying to prove here is, what we are trying to prove here is cx1 plus cx2 is our initial thing. If this is greater than cx1 plus cy2 is our greater initial thing, cy1 plus cx2, let's say, means y is going here and then x is going here. Okay, probably we don't know about these values, but what does this mean? What does this mean? Cx1 minus See, I was trying to use, if you can make two things to make this bit, you could have instead used just those two things to make this bit and to make everything once, right? So if two things are good to make this bit, then can we just make everything once instead? Is what I was trying to see. Two things, using two things to make this and this. Because our algorithm has that flaw, if you notice, right? There can be something else that is close to make everything as once. No, maybe our algorithm works. Maybe it works because if it is something that can come here, that is probably having all of them as ones, right? If it is something that can come here, it's probably having all of them as ones. Maybe it's correct. But how to prove it? Should we just try to code this one? Guys, tell me if this one will work or not. This seems complex too, like, but this algorithm is simple. We remove an element. After removing an element, we want OR again. That doesn't seem to be difficult, right? Removing an element, finding OR doesn't seem to be that difficult. Why? Removing an element, you will just find the ORs, right? So this is an easy implementable algorithm. Why? You removed an element, and then for each index, you know what's the minimum cost to form this bit, right? For each element, you know what's the minimum cost to form this bit. So you can maintain a set where you have these things, right? For each index, you know what's the minimum form to cost form those bit. Now we are removing some indices. You can update that set, and then you can again get the minimum cost, that the index that takes minimum cost. But then, is this greedy order good or not? Is what we have to think. Is using whatever gives minimum cost to this, is that the best way? But instead of that, using this is that the best way? Snacks are being too costly these days. So we have to just conform. See, I have gotten an algorithm, but I'm not coding because we cannot do mindless coding, right? We have to think if that's the optimal thing or not. Then maybe we can remove something. We can, but maybe this is also complex for this problem. I don't know. This also seems not that easy, right, to do. Not to do. Like, I don't know. I don't understand difficulty of problems. I don't know what is difficult, what is easy. Somehow, I cannot judge if this is an easy one. The solution, this algorithm, is an easy one. Why we have removals of some indices, and then we again try to form this. It's not that difficult, right? We remove some index from all sets, and then we again request the minimum cost, minimum index, and then we keep going. We need not remove if it is active already, right? Because as we go and increase form this way, this will not get affected, this will not get affected. So guys, did is this algorithm clear? I am brute forcing J and then I am brute forcing some other J. So it's like J square algorithm. I don't know if we should brute force that J because we are coming from here greedy. So if I think about the algorithm, we are fixing J and then we are from this J we are trying to be greedy. Maybe that's why it will probably work. Okay. Maybe that way it will probably work. Because we are not doing random greedy, right? We are not coming from this bit trying to add the minimum thing, but we are coming from this side trying to form that one first and then like this. So I think maybe it works, right? Because let's think of bits of x itself. X has some bits active, right? So the cost cx1 is definitely greater than cx2. Why? Because to make this one active we have to increase all of them. You have to make them all of them once and then you do one more thing to come here, right? So cx1 is okay. Now we can use more logic. So cx1 is greater than cx2, cy2 is greater than cy2. But instead of these two taking these two, is that better is what we have to think, right? So instead of y2, so is this can this be greater, can this be smaller? What about just doing cx1 plus cy1 in this case? If you do this, you can make all of them as ones and then the problem itself is done. How to prove that? But cx1 less than cy1. That's our greedy. Like the cost of making cx1, is it much more than cost of making this? We have to think of that. Right. Because cx1 is less than cy1. Okay. So what does this give? This is positive. And then we have cx2. So would this positive be much more? Would this positive be much more than cy2? Now we got an algorithm. We're trying to see if that algorithm is best or not. Right? Should I try to just code it? Brute force J, for that J be greedy, and then keep going, find or see how there can be algorithms. So we can just do this J twice. If you know for each J, if you can brute force this twice, if we can brute force that twice, we can find that value for each J and then we can immediately answer for each K. We go over all J's, we will just find whatever the cost of each J, whichever is less than K, we will answer that. So it's just O of 60 in the initially and then you can finally output very easily, very directly you can output for each K. So it's all initial 60 times 60 computation. Okay. But is this greedy correct? I don't know how to answer that if that's correct. Like we have just let's just say we have two bits. using that to go here is best, and then using that to go here is best. Okay. So our algorithm can be a bit wrong. So let's see cases itself. Let's see cases itself. We have two zeros, right? We have two zeros. We are worrying about two zeros, this zero and this zero. Okay. If that zero is active in both, we are good. Okay. But if that zero is not active in if that zero is not active in if that zero is active in x but not active in y, but not active in y, okay, then here we need some cost, but making that active and then coming here would require much more cost, I guess, right? It's just plus one plus one here, plus one to make this and this active. But if you make this one instead, you need plus 2. But if you make this one, again it's plus 1. So, but if there is some 0 here by chance, then you have to make you have to add that one also before coming here. That is much more cost, right? That's much more cost than just making this one. So to make this j, what does that mean to make it j? It's making these zeros as ones, right? Making these zeros as ones. Here you make lesser zeros as ones. So I think using this algorithm seems correct because of this logic. So instead of making this, think about that as making this, right? Because this plus this is 1. So if I'm trying to see that, we have some zeros. We have some zeros, right? And then we will add this much plus this 0 plus this bit to make that 1 plus 1. So we know it's about looking what this means. If you're looking at that well, if you're looking at that well, now I can say, okay, what's the difference between cx1 and cy1? So the difference between cx1 and cy1 is where these bits are having, where these things are having zeros. If these are zeros, okay, now we are looking at the special bit also, right? If these are zeros, if some of these are zeros, then to make this one we add all those ones. And then if this is having some zero here, adding that will be much higher, right? Adding that zero will be much higher to make this one, right? Adding that will be much higher. So adding that one, so we are only adding these smaller things, but if you add this one, we are only adding the smaller things on this one. Now these smaller zeros, these smaller zeros. So it's all about adding these smaller zeros, adding these smaller zeros, adding these smaller zeros, up to so on for some bits. How much tax comes? So I think maybe it's correct. Should I just code it? Is this really greedy? See, this guessing this algorithm is easy, but I'm trying to prove. That's why I'm making it complex. Okay. I somehow sometimes make it complex, but the question is, see, instead of trying to make this bit one, make this bit one greedily, we'll come from that side, because coming from that side seems to be greedily good, right? Somehow. So it seems like to make these things as ones, To make these things as ones, it seems what all you have to do is whatever is the minimum zero. So it's like among these zeros, the min cost thing matters. I'll just code it. Maybe it seems it's correct. Maybe it's correct. I'll just try to just code it and then check. Proof by wrong answer. Let's just we have to sleep too, right? I cannot do this, right? So what do we need? We will remove few things. We will remove few things. We will find or XOR again, and then we will find what's the minimum value to make it again. Let's just brute force this. So guys, let me just check this by submitting it once. Okay. Let's just check by submitting it. Okay. No need of set. Why? Complexity is low, right? We can do O of n as many times as we want. Let's try to do this for all j from increasing or any j. J equals to 0, j less than 30, j plus plus. See, dp exists because we cannot name things. Told that multiple times. Cost to make all of them as ones. Okay. Cost to make all of them as ones. So now I think it seems to be working, because if you look at that in this way, if you look at that in this way of zeros of, if you try to look at that in terms of making this, then you know what it is. It is the zeros, the missing zeros in this, right? Exactly, the missing zeros, you have to add that much. So now maybe trying to take the minimum missing zeros first, and then it may not work, then maybe solution has some other thing. But it may work, but I cannot see very simple proof. I think these questions are not that much of proof based things. That's why I did bad, maybe, I don't know. Or maybe today I'm just tired. I woke up at 2:15 or something in the afternoon. I ate only once. So now what do we do? So If j is active, we can ignore. Okay. So for int k equals to j, k less than k greater than or equals to 0, k minus minus. Okay, we'll try to greedily do from here. Okay. Okay, if k and continue. If that's active, continue. If that is not active, that is not active. That is not active. Find an index. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We need not remove it. We can just make it 0. Okay. Let's call it like b. Let's call it like b. We can just make it, we can just add it to that. We can just add that much to that. Okay. We have our current or, and then what do we do? Because it's all zeros, right? We go over all array again. I less than n I plus plus. Okay, what's the cost to make the bit j active? That's what I wrote here. This is the cost to make that bit j active, right? So we are removing that. We are making it 1, right? So all of them will become 0 now. So this is the minimum cost to do that. It's not even dp cost. So this is some greedy thing that we are thinking that would work, right? And then I will make cur or equals to get or of n. We are thinking this would work. I'll also have whatever the previous ones are. Okay. Int answer. Maybe I'll call this dp for no reason. Whatever the previous ones are. Int prev ones equals to 0. They won't change, right? Or I can just go over that and then just add them. cost equals to I got some snacks. Maybe I'll eat kurkure popcorn and still maintain my lean body. Leave that, now we have costs. So making all of this as ones, what would be the answer? Making all of this as ones will give me j plus 1 ones plus previous ones, right? About GP. Mm, this is definitely wrong. I can sense this problem, this solution is wrong, but light. So this itself is wrong. So it's wrong. If we can add 3 bits, we have 1 2, we have 1. Guys, try parallelly, don't waste much time. How the fuck am I getting a better answer? That should not be happening, right? No, no, this answer is not good. It says to activate this bit, we need 8. But is that right? Take 3, 4 minus 3 is 1. Okay. And then take 1. We have to make 1 as 3. 2. We're doing something wrong. Still it's wrong. Why? Why? See? P of I. B of IDX, B of IDX. The fuck are no these notifications? How to sleep. So guys, if it is right or not, we have to say Ganga Canteen. So my solution wrong. I forgot what's Ganga Canteen now. I only know Usha Cafe for IITM. Uh, where are we? Okay, is this solution? I don't know. I cannot trust the chat too, right? So why is this solution wrong? Let's just check it right. Okay, we have b of I equals to a of I initially, and then what do we have? So let me output b of I2 after each step. So let's keep m as 5 to not output so many things. We add that much, right? We add that much to. Okay, that is changed to 3. Let's try to submit this at least if it passes samples. Fuck, it's wrong. It's wrong for basic cases. Guys, I'm sleeping, guys. I cannot do this now. I mean, I can solve difficult problems, but that doesn't mean I may not be able to solve. I can definitely solve this one, right? Okay, what's happening here? What's happening here? 0, 1, 2. We are getting 0, 2, 3. I don't think one thing should go wrong, right? So I think we can check this one. We can check this one. I think if I open this one more packet, I'll leave this whole. Bingo. Spicy it seems. I am making you people learn unhealthy habits. Don't stay late at night. Don't stay late at night. Don't Yeah, good night, bro. Don't stay late at night. Be disciplined. Don't let CF affect you much. Don't eat trash. Don't make all your life streaming and Codeforces. For j equals to 0, it's just 1, right? So I'm telling by adding 2, I can make 3. That's wrong, right? And what are costs of j? See, that's wrong, right? For 2, it is 1. For 3, it is 2. So probably, this is having an issue. So this is having an issue. Because when n equals to 1, that's wrong, right? If this is wrong, we are sleeping. Definitely sleeping. If this is wrong. Even though I'm continuing here, I think it works out. Why? That means Karara is already active everywhere, right? We have to be careful. So now what are the costs? Why is it just one? The goal is to make all of them as ones, right? Wait, what is going wrong, guys? So we're going over k bit. Or should I just make it the outside thing as k? I think we can do good coding at this late night. 0, 1, 2, 3. Cost of making 3 bits is 4, right? You have to add. This is wrong again. Cost of making 2 bits is 3, right? Cost of making 3 bits is more, right? It's 7, right? It should be. Wait, why is this simple algorithm failing? So, b of I has become, it was 0, it became 2. Correct. It was 0, it became 4, and then it became 6, it seems. But why? It shouldn't become 6, right? Two became three. Initially it was one, I guess. It should first become one, right? Because let's be clear once, okay? One thing is wrong. Is this definitely wrong? To make 2 bits, you need not add, you can add 3. To make 3 bits, you have to add 7. Okay, it's working now. I don't know when it started working. I'm a bit high, I guess. So we hard coded. We finally hard coded we hard coded our test case samples. After hard coding samples, we are submitting a shitty solution. That may go wrong. Don't see my personal things, guys. Just ignore it. Have some civic sense. Let's leave, guys. Let's not do this. Okay. Where are we finding 0? My eyes are hurting. That was this error. Why? If we have entered here, we would have found at least one. We cannot make zero. It was zero because of this. See, the solution we doubted for so long. You guys can't blame implementations. My implementation was what? J times O of n. Get or. Brute force implementation. Greedy. Find the best index. Remove that. But I spent most time in trying to prove this shit. Right? That's E for you guys. Nice. मुझे थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी आता है ब्रो. I doubt who's this Pratiksha is always. It's probably someone I know, or maybe I don't know. It's probably my friend. One of my guy friends asks about Sayara. I was thinking about you, Pradeep. I thought, okay, he left or so. Who's this Bharat Reddy? I know multiple Bharat Reddys to think of. So, guys, guessing this is not that difficult, right? Junaid at this time. So, should we write? Oh no, we cannot do F. So, guys, I want to tell some important things now because important thing is not solving because then I can guess you. I'm using bingo. I had this too. I'll eat more shit too. But guys, let me give you guys tips, okay? Tips are sleep on time, focus on important things. By the way, and it is not that difficult to guess some solution like this. Why? In many cases, people come from this side, but then it's a very quiet topic to come from brute force on one bit and then come from that side is very quite well known idea that people have, but then we need not think of those ideas too because logically we can apply things if you are coming from that side, right? See, logically it got simplified into this problem. With this it got simplified into this problem. Whatever the highest j we are forming, it got simplified to this problem. Why? Now if this one's answer is x and bi is x, we must solve this problem. So this is a must be solved problem. So the whole thing got converted into this. We can use such logic to see if you are in right direction or not. What is the logic I was using? I don't know songs. I used to sing songs, but then recently I'm talking to someone. They are not appreciating my singing, so I'm stopping singing. I can play Smash Cards, guys. Does anyone want to play Smash Cards? I don't think anyone does that. See, my streams are bad. It's a game. Shitty online game. Whenever I type pra, both of you pop up. Prediksha and Pradeep. So, guys, this proving seemed complex to me. I was not able to prove that well that this is the best. But then when I saw this one, it seems to be correct, right? I mean, making this, we have to make this and then go. But then making this will show you whatever the missing bits are, that's what you add. Because of that, it felt greedy may work. Why would greedy work? It's not that easy to prove, but it's easy to guess. Okay, once you form that, you're removing that. So it's brute force. See, I'm just adding min cost to that index. Removing that seemed wrong, but then adding that is correct because when n equals to 1, you cannot remove shit, right? You have to update the same thing. Coming from this side, making this bit active, making this bit active, making this bit active. Greedily. Guys, can you think of any simpler solution to this? Guys, this is too simple, right? Coming from this side, making this bit active, what's the minimum greediest way you can do? See, such a simple algorithm itself is being difficult for people. No, what I'm trying to say is, you're coming from this bit, trying to make this one in the greediest possible way. That somehow is working out. It shouldn't work, right? I'm bored too, but I'll sleep. I'm ending the stream, guys. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. Like the video. You guys should pack it up, whatever you guys are talking. Once I end, you guys can't talk. Well, I won't do it. If I'm unrated, I can do it. But then now I'm not. My rating is 2120. What the fuck is this? Slide. If I've done a bit more bad, I would have been here and then I could have jumped right tomorrow. Even falling down, I'm not doing properly. Let me see how is our top. Damn, bro, he's LGM. We can call this LGM. 2983. How quick has he done? He took some. Why? Probably it's difficult to prove. If he did instantly, maybe he'll get this both at same time. See, he fucked up C, but then didn't fuck up the contest. He went back and then came somehow. We can never be him. I'm ending the stream, guys. Bye.